This is Jane. Jane's got an online store and she's doing pretty good.
Crushing it.
But like every store owner, Jane wants an app.
I want an app.
You need an app.
I can't build an app.
But she could. With Tapcart, she was able to design and launch the perfect app for her brand without having to deal with her developer. Now Jane can spend more time on the things she loves, being creative, connecting with her customers, and collecting sweaters for her dog Sadie. Hey Sadie.
Watch this.
Tapcart enables Jane to send these interactive push notifications directly to her customers, getting them back in the app and making purchases. Back on top. So what's next?
Flash sale.
Updating her app is a breeze. Add new blocks, feature a sale, share new content from anywhere. Plus, Tapcart keeps her app up to date with the latest technology. So no more dealing with this guy. This is the future, Jane.
Yep, I'm the future.
Your brand, your products, your app. Tapcart.
Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome back to No Code Week, brought to you by Startup Starter. My name is Jose Barrera, and I'm the CEO of Startup Starter. And this afternoon, we have another Tapcart user joining us, the CEO of REBDOLLS, Griselangel Paula, a leading e-commerce brand in the fashion industry for plus-size women and just about anybody, actually. So without further ado, let's bring to the stage, Griselangel.
Hi. Hi, Jose.
Hello. How are you today, Grisel?
Good.
And did I say it right?
Thanks for having
Griselangel or just Grisel?
Just Grisel. It's completely
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where are you from? Where's that name from, actually?
I am from the Dominican Republic.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. That's where I was born and raised.
And when did you come to the U.S.?
I came to the U.S. when I was about 11. So I've been here a while.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Colombian. I came at 13. So.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just recent. I was in Colombia right before, the world went crazy, but it was my first experience and I loved it. It was amazing.
Oh my God. Where do you go?
I went to Cartagena and Bogota. Where's the other main city?
Medellin?
Medellin.
Medellin.
Medellin. I loved it.
Yeah. Good people, huh?
Yeah, it was awesome. A lot of empanadas.
Oh yeah. I think that that's the one thing that we don't really have, like compared to like Peru. Peru has such incredible food. Colombia has good food, but kind of like limited, really, in like delicacy.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice because I was too busy eating what you guys do have, so it's all good.
Were you there for work or just kind of?
No, just fun.
Okay,
Yeah,
there's a big fashion industry in Medellin.
Oh, really? I'm not familiar with it at all.
Yeah, FYI, yeah.
Yeah, good to know.
Yeah.
But when I went to Cartagena, though, it was like a fashion show everywhere I went, so it was definitely a vibe.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you for joining us. Really excited to hear your story. We talked to the Tapcart guys that were really excited to talk about you precisely. And, being a bootstrap company, you guys haven't been acquired. There's just so many things that are really iconic, that are really good to know. And I'm sure you just got a wealth of knowledge and experience now that you've earned through the years. So just kind of to get started, can you give us a little background on your story and then kind of how you got to be where you are today?
Sure. So my story really started, when I was in college, I was going to school for criminal justice, and really as more of like a side thing, I started plus size modeling. And that's when I really got familiar with the industry. And I didn't even realize, as a Spanish person, I've always been curvier. I always kind of bought at like the biggest size of a regular store. And that to me just kind of felt like one more thing, like I was just an extra large, sometimes a large, and it was just like, whatever. And then I never really realized what the plus size industry was or who the players were until I became a plus size model and I really started working for these brands on the back end. And I saw just the clothes were just not for my age group. I mean, early 20s, trying to find cute clothes to wear, and all of my options were super frumpy and just not age appropriate. So on the other side of the spectrum, you kind of had more of like the teen plus size. So you had more of like the Forever 21s. And I was kind of in the middle as a consumer, where I felt like I had aged out of Forever 21, but I wasn't ready for the lane Bryant. So I was just like, where do I go? And being from the Dominican Republic, I knew that there was a lot of it was a forgotten industry in my country. Manufacturing, we had a lot of manufacturing hubs in the 80s. And I didn't know that until I started doing research, but a lot of manufacturing hubs in the 80s that kind of went off to China, went off to Haiti. And there was a lot of people that were left with knowledge of production and garment, but really just doing other jobs. And so I decided, I want to make some clothes. I started as a t-shirt because it started as a t-shirt. I was selling on like Etsy and just selling cute form-fitted t-shirts with like designs, because it was just the easiest thing to do. I didn't really have money to create an entire production line. So I started making t-shirts.
While modeling?
Yeah,
okay.
While modeling. Yeah.
Okay.
So I graduated. For a little while, I was modeling full time. And then that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to start this t-shirt line as like another side hustle. Was on Etsy. That's when I got really familiar with like Shopify. And I don't remember the other kind of, I think that I was also on WordPress for like a day, but it was like too complicated for me. And so I kind of so I figured, okay, I went out to Dominican Republic and I said, I'm looking for people that can kind of sew t-shirts for me. I have this t-shirt brand for plus size, but I can't find like good plus size t-shirt manufacturers. Found this guy, and turns out the guy was a pattern maker for Banana Republic, and Banana Republic had left the Dominican Republic. And I was like, okay, well, if you can make me this t-shirt, can't you just make me a dress? Like, can you just make it longer and we'll call it a dress? And he was like, sure, I can make it whatever you want, right? So that's really where my story of like, where my eyes opened, like, oh crap, I can start designing some stuff, right? And from there, I fast forward a little while, and like a few months, and my sister graduated college. And I told her, I was like, her name's Denise. I was like, Denise, I need you to stay for the summer. I'm going to make some dresses in the Dominican Republic. I need you to stay for the summer, and you're going to ship the dresses that I'm going to ship to you to the customer. And I started like a Shopify store, right? Wow. And we had followers from the t-shirt line, right? So we had followers that we were kind of building on Instagram. And I put all of my dollars that I had into like doing this first collection that I called the Grisel collection, because I couldn't figure out another name for it at the time. So I called it the Grisel collection. I had $800 to my name. I told the guy, could I pay him? Like, could I pay them when I sold it? And they were just like, okay. They trusted me for it. And so point is, I left my sister in New Jersey, and I told her I'd ship everything to her. I did. Put the collection live. I used a friend of mine who was a plus size model to model it. And then we sold out in like 2 hours. And what was like, it was such a small, I don't even remember the initial investment. It was a lot for me at the time. It was really all I had. And I think the collection, the quantities made almost like $20,000 in like 3 hours. And that started funding everything from there on after. Like that's really the beginning of like taking that $20,000 that it generated, and we just kind of kept flipping it. We kept doing it over and over again until we started hiring, and that small office turned into our own version of a distribution center. And then we outgrew that, then we moved out, and yeah, that's the story in a nutshell.
Same pattern maker throughout?
No. And then we kind of evolved, to other factories and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. And then that initial sale, was it just that core following you had that just kind of bought everything?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
And I had followers that, it was a mixture at the time. I had followers from being a plus size model and being known like in the industry. And then, but it wasn't like I think the story is so different now, leveraging social media, than it was then. Like this was like 5 years ago. But I think like I had like 6,000 followers, and like the actual page had, I don't know, well, actually had like 40,000 followers. So that was something. Yeah. So that was all from the t-shirt line.
Cool. And was it always you, like kind of just leading the AD and just pushing everything and fighting? Or do you have like a team immediately, kind of helpers?
Yeah. I want to say it was me at the production level.
Okay.
And then it was really my sister she was at the home turf, like handling really distribution and customer service. And then we hired people that kind of assisted her really like in shipping the orders and customer service, etc.
Got it. And the vision and the design work, is that you?
Mm-hmm. That evolved to now me and my sister. We do all of the design, and then she started becoming a lot more vocal on what she wanted to see, her style, and you really see that a lot now in the website.
Where does the inspiration come from?
Honestly, what we like to wear. That is literally it. We love prints, bold colors. We like bright. And that really translates a lot to our customer. And we've really built an amazing following base.
Cool. That's amazing. It's always good when you have good taste, or you trust at least that, hey, hopefully I'm not crazy and this is something nice. Some people actually say, hey, that's actually cool. You can just kind of just go from that. One thing that I've always wanted is like, hey, t-shirts, also the same concept for me. For guys, it's like the one thing you go through a lot. And we're quite simple. I will wear the same t-shirt, same color, same style forever. But it's just always just kind of lower quality. And if you cannot find the right one, or if it just goes out of style, it's going to be a mission to find it over again. So one thing I'd say, hey, I'll start our own brand just for t-shirts. Plain. Yeah. So hopefully that support us. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So now there's a brand. There's kind of initial success. Feel a bit more relieved that $800 bet worked out and we got 20,000. What went from there on? Now you have like a brand, a company. What were the next steps?
I think for me, I quickly realized departments and how I wanted to how I needed to create them, right? Like it would be, in the beginning, me is just like, I'm like handling Instagram or I'm handling Facebook, and the marketing was the extent of whatever time I had to like make posts, right? But then you start getting into some serious, when you're growing really fast, you start getting into some problems really fast, right? So now you can catch up on distribution, right? Or now your orders are shipping 4 days late because you're short on manpower. Then customer service was a major thing. Then, so point is that for me, I realized really early that I needed to build a foundation to these departments. And that foundation was really going to form the rest. And it was imperative to really scale the company and really take it from just like 2 people to really hiring thereafter. So, and now we're, at a district, we're at a DC. So it's a lot easier now with distribution. They handle everything.
Gotcha. And do you still model it, or is it, another
No.
Is that okay?
No, I gave it up for the company.
Cool. And what was the next process, kind of going from like a Shopify and learning to like kind of have marketing departments and stuff, and graduating, moving on to, okay, now it's a brand that I really want to scale, right? Kind of where you guys are now. What was some of the tools you guys used to kind of help you get there? Some of the people that helped you out? You know, what were the next steps in scaling a company to maturity as it is now?
You mean at the Shopify tech level?
Yeah, once it was like, hey, did you have a team that you said, hey, I need help now, I want to have like pros? What was like the big next investment to help you guys mature?
Well, I would say at the tech level was slightly different, especially like, for example, being a Shopify platform, just because it was so easy to scale. It didn't require much more, in the sense of like, we just needed more people to kind of help on the management of the products and listing them and making sure everything was great, and it looks good, you know, but we didn't need people like at that core like tech level, because Shopify just made it so easy, right? It was like we could just hire someone to kind of come and list products for us, and it was super easy. It was like plug and play. And then I'm trying to think of part two of your question. Then I would say though, then it became an issue of like access to capital. Then it became okay, we're growing, or should we continue to distribute the product ourselves? Should we get a distribution center, or should we invest more money will we grow faster and we invest more money on like Facebook ads? But I don't know how to handle Facebook ads, so now we need to go hire someone that knows how to handle Facebook ads. But you're kind of blowing money as you're trying to figure it out, you know, because as a founder, there's so many departments that you don't know, right? And there's so many, it's like you need to become an expert overnight, and you do the best you can overnight to kind of figure out like Facebook ads, for example, right? Like I needed to scale, and I'm just like, okay, well, I need to go figure out how to do Facebook ads in order to even know how to hire someone to do Facebook ads. I don't even know the basic line of questioning to have with this person, right? So you're kind of trying to educate yourself every day and kind of be wiser than you were yesterday, because a lot of it is on you. And as you're hiring departments, like if I hire someone for marketing, they're not going to be able to assist me with like customer care, right? So now I also need to go and understand customer care and understand technology, that if I hire someone in customer care, that will also help the person I'm hiring, because I want to set them up for success. And when you're at that founder level, you kind of become everything, you know, so quickly, and you really need to learn a lot to keep pace.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it's one thing to note is you're like the one-man shop, right? Even if you have like support, you have to kind of just go out and learn it and keep that face like, hey, we'll survive, it'll be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you make so many mistakes, even at the hiring level. Even when you want to hire someone, sometimes I learned this fast, that if you ask the wrong questions, you can really set yourself up for failure at a hiring level. And sometimes that comes from you not understanding what the right questions were. Like you think the priority of a new role in your company is X. And then when that person is in the role, you're like, crap, that's not necessarily the priority, you know? So like, what do you do, and how do you shift that? And it's a lot of lessons learned, honestly, as a founder.
And any lesson in particular you want to share with us from that perspective?
Yes, I think that when you are hiring and you're still a small team, I think it's important to hire on both skill set and personality. And I know that perhaps that sounds counterintuitive, but when you're still a small team, you become family really fast, because you're so dependent on each other for so much, right? And it changes the dynamic. Like if your team is very fluid and your team can communicate really easily and they feel like they can communicate, if merchandising feels like they can communicate with marketing really fast without having to, without feeling like there are barriers in between, it makes the company grow faster, because they're so in sync with each other that they're fine. And
Sure.
to me, I really learned really early that you need to, at this level, still feel like a family for things to function really well.
And is your family all close together, or do you have some family members that just kind of, you leave aside? They're really good, but not really.
Yeah.
You get to see eye to eye on everything.
Yeah, and you don't have to agree with everybody all the time, for sure. But
Right. Yeah.
yeah, it helps to be amicable and to get along.
Yeah, it's one thing we've learned a lot too, because for us, it's really key to kind of all align with the mission, but also respect other points of view and see, hey, like I don't want to get tunnel vision, and somebody says something that, hey, I wasn't thinking of this, but you're right, and learning to respect that and seeing like, hey, like this is really going to help us out because we weren't thinking about this. And when you're pointing out, when you hire someone, thinking, they have to do X, and because they have the expertise, they realize that, well, to do X, we have to do Y, and then think about Z,
Yeah.
So cool. Okay. Now let's talk about your acquisition. So you guys got acquired by AKA Brands. How was that, and how'd that come up?
So we've been in talks. So AKA Brands used to be Accelerate Brands, and we were in talks kind of I want to say 2018 through 2019 of really kind of just discussing a deal and how that would look. And I was at a point in kind of my founder story where I always felt like REBDOLLS has this power to be this huge brand. I feel like we've started something, right? There is this community of women, of curvy plus size women that love the designs that we're making, that the fit is super important to them, and they're coming back for more. And I felt like it was really important for me to have an ally that understood how to scale brands further and how to take things further than I felt that I could do for the brand. I felt like I always say that I feel like I founded REBDOLLS on like good taste and a lot of common sense, right? But there was only so far that was going to get me. I didn't have and a lot of founders don't have a degree in finance or in how to start a business. It's like nobody tells you how to start it, but I felt like I wanted to make sure that I placed REBDOLLS in a place where they could be the next big e-commerce brand. And I felt like there was only so much I was going to be able to do by myself. And I wanted an ally in that. And they kind of popped in at the right time and with the right message of really wanting to grab brands and in the e-commerce space and accelerate them faster. So that's where we are now.
Did you guys find them? Did they find you?
They found us.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you were already thinking like, hey, I need to get to the next stage. I need the help. So it was wow.
Yeah. And that was so funny enough, my first point of contact, I was like, did somebody forward this, my email to you? Because I had already started reaching out to investors. And he at the time was like, no, I've just been following you guys for a little while, just kind of seeing what you guys are doing. And I was like, everything aligned at the right time. Wow.
One kind of side questions that I forgot to ask, REBDOLLS, where does the name come from?
So one night, I used to be a big fan, well, still am a big fan of Nasty Gal. And that was totally my vibe. And I was like, damn, I love the name Nasty Gal. I just really liked it, right? And I was thinking to myself, I was like, I want a name that represents girls, but that represents that we're rebellious, right? Yeah. And I was like, rebellious dolls. But I was like, no, that sounds a little too a sentence, right? So then I shortened and I was like, REBDOLLS, that has a ring to it.
Sure does.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. One last thing that I have to tap into, Tapcart. So we just sat down with Tapcart today, kind of discover how easy it is to use them. Did you guys get into Tapcart after the acquisition, or was it beforehand? And how much did that help you guys grow?
Yeah, it was after the acquisition, and I'm trying to think. We were with another app. So even before the acquisition, we were in an app, and it just wasn't working for us. It needed kind of a lot of management. It didn't have a lot of just intuitiveness to it. It crashed often. It just wasn't a good experience. And after the acquisition, one of our sister brands, which is Princess Polly, we were chatting with them, and they said, well, we're on Tapcart. And I looked into it, and being the person I am, I was like, I want this done like right now, right? I took some time off my schedule. Like, it literally took me 2 days to transition the entire app from the previous app over to Tapcart, because it was just plug and play. So I just started plugging in my images. Here's my menu. I mean, the assets were kind of already done because they were the same assets from the site that you can kind of just plug in. Everything fed correctly, and we were live as soon as, like, the app thingies communicated with the app store, and and it was awesome. It was super quick, and we've actually turned a lot of our strategy. So REBDOLLS relies a lot on our return customer. We have a huge kind of loyal following, and they really resonate with the app. It's right on their phone. We have an amazing conversion rate on the app, and we've actually started about a month ago. We started doing some of our special releases a day early on the app to kind of incentivize people to download the app, also to really help with just the loyalty overall. People feel it's special, because we're giving them early access to our collections on the app, and we're seeing huge app days now, which is amazing. So we definitely recommend it to anybody.
Got it. Yeah, we just found it, and also very excited. I totally bought a t-shirt thing, so now I'm actually thinking myself, maybe we can get into the t-shirt business and do it.
That'd be awesome
for ourselves. And I like the idea of people that think like you, that want something like you, be having access. Like if I had a coffee app like that, I would, because I just need the same coffee all the time. That is going to just be delivered. That is going to be good. It's the same goes for a brand that I like. If I just want my stuff, and if somebody beats me to it, great. I just want it. But just kind of having access on demand sounds incredible.
It is, and it helps. It's super fast, and I think customers really like not having to re-input like all of their checkout methods. And I think the app really facilitates where really it's a one-click buy. Like they see something on Instagram or they get one of our emails and they're like, oh, I love this dress from this new collection. It's like they go to the app, click it, and it's one-click pay with like Apple Pay, or if you're on an Android, and you're done with your checkout, which just is,
Cool. Okay, one last question. What's the future like for REBDOLLS?
Amazing. I honestly see REBDOLLS like being a household name. I want it to be like how we can kind of just casually talk about like some brands like Macys or like Forever 21, and you're kind of just like, everybody knows what it is. I want it to be casual that way, where it's not like, oh, have you ever heard of REBDOLLS? It's more like, oh yeah, what did you get at REBDOLLS this week? And that's my plan.
Cool. Well, thank you for joining us today, Grisel. It's been a really, really good time. You're really, really cool. Anything else? Any parting words? Any wishes?
No, just good luck to all the founders out there. It's a lot of work. It is a thankless job, but it's going to be the best job you could ever get. So just I encourage anyone that really wants to really found something to go ahead and take over the world.
Cool. Thank you. Well, thank you for joining. This is Founder Stories with Isabel Paula from REBDOLLS. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Download the app. Is it just the REBDOLLS app on the App Store?
Just REBDOLLS, yep.
Cool. Well, thank you. And until next time.
Okay, awesome. Take care.
Ciao.